Hello everyone, welcome to Fly Like a Girl. As you can see, I'm out at the airport next to my aircraft, Tango Kilo Yankee, or Tiki as she's better known. And I've just completed another lesson, 1 hour. And I just want to reinforce something that I said before, that when you're older, your learning is slower. And I noticed that really quite a bit because remember, this is about my third or fourth go at getting my private pilot's license. I went into the military selection process, and you've got to demonstrate that you're capable of learning really quickly. And I noticed then that I really was, but now I'm not. I'm very much not capable of learning super quickly. So I'm noticing, things that might have taken me 2 goes to get right are taking me 10. And that's okay. That's just what happens when you get older. So that's the first comment I'd like to make. But the second comment is about, learning to fly and maximizing your time and maximizing your learning and minimizing your cost. So if you watched previous episodes, you would have heard me talking about the value of visualization. So I'm going to demonstrate to you a visualization. The beauty of that is, rather than paying for flying time, even in my own aircraft, so today's lesson, 1 hour, cost me $270. That's the instructor's time and $80 worth of fuel. So instead of paying for that, you can teach yourself and improve yourself and build your skills by paying $0. And this is how you do it. So the first thing, of course, is to find a spot where you can do this. I've got my backyard here, but can easily be done also in a bedroom. And what you're planning to do here is to just walk around doing, in my case, a circuit, but you could start this process anywhere. You could start it, at your hangar if you like, and do all your checks and everything. Take your checklist with you while you do this visualization. But for today, I'm just going to start it as though I'm lined up, ready to go. And it's okay if you stumble over things. The whole point of this is to do the stumbling now, not to do it in the aircraft, and to eventually iron out all that. So, I don't know about you, but I find sometimes, particularly as you get older, that you think you know all your checklists, and then you get to partway through it and you stumble for a second trying to think about what the next thing is. But anyway, I learned the value of this process during the Australian Defence Force pilot selection, and we were encouraged to do this in our bedroom, so you don't need very much space. So let's think about how we might do it. Now, you're not going to see me doing the actions with my hands unless I tip the camera right up like this. But you'll get the idea of what I'm talking about. So imagine we're lined up, and you might start by doing your check just before you take off. You might do a passenger or emergency briefing or whatever. But let's just do it from here, lined up, ready to go. I'm going to do a radio call. Let's say traffic Tamworth, Tango Kilo Yankee rolling, runway 23, this time Maitland. Full power, on the rudder pedals, off we go. We're going down a runway. Engine instruments are good. Airspeed is alive. We're on 55 knots to rotate. 55 knots. Visualize that in your head. Visualize what that looks like. That's the whole point of this. Not just to learn your checklist, but to kind of get some visualization in your head of what that looks like. And if you're not certain yet, make sure to pay attention next time, or even better, ask your instructor if you can put a camera behind you at about your eye height, so you can get to see what this all looks like, and later on it'll help you when you're visualizing, and it'll help you when you're learning. So we've rotated. We're just going to fly relatively nose level for a little while while we build speed. Then we're up to our 70 knots for my particular aircraft. Then at about 300 AGL, what we do is a little checklist. Now, what I want to say is, this is not flight instruction. This is instruction about how to do visualization. Your checklists may differ. Your processes may differ. Every country is different. Every instructor is slightly different. So just don't take this as instruction on what you should be checking or what you should be doing. Just take it as instruction on how you do this process. So our checklist at about 300 AGL at my airport is our power good? Is our undercarriage as we want it configured? In other words, mine is fixed and bolted, so I can't do anything with it. But the check is puff sit, power, undercarriage, flaps, switches, instruments, T's and P's. So in our case, it's power is full, confirm with the RPMs, confirm the throttle, undercarriage fixed, flaps we now retract, the switches we want to landing lights off, fuel pump off, instruments in this case we're looking, do we have a positive rate of climb indicated? If not, we need to check our power and so forth, check our attitude. So we do our puff sit check, power, undercarriage, flaps, switches, instruments, good rate of climb, T's and P's in the green. Continuing on our upwind, we'll get to 500 AGL, 600 feet at my airport, and we will look for traffic. Then we will look so right and left and ahead, and we will turn onto our crosswind. So as we're turning on our crosswind, I want you to visualize the attitude that you need for, in my case, 70 knots. We're looking for traffic in the pattern, no traffic. So we're going to come up to 1000 AGL. We're going to pitch over to our level of attitude. We're going to throttle back to whatever RPMs are right for your particular aircraft. And the sun is in my eyes here. And then we're going to turn on to our downwind, and we're going to also trim, of course. Now, our downwind check, some places you might do a radio call. We do ours on base at this particular airport. You may have a different check. I know it's different in the United States, but our check is bump fish, so brakes, undercarriage, mixture, fuel, instruments, switches, hatches and harnesses. So you're going to do that check, brakes, undercarriage, go through the whole lot, moving your hand around, you know, on the quadrant or on the panel, wherever, to do the necessary things. All right, so we've done that check. We're continuing down. Imagine this, you're looking to the left, you're looking for when you're opposite the numbers, and then you are going to throttle back. You're going to put your carb heat on if required. You're going to hold your attitude. So imagine holding your attitude, and then once you check our speed, make sure that's correct. Put the first stage of flap in my case, and visualize trying to hold that speed that is appropriate for your aircraft. I think at this point in time I try to hold about 75 knots in the Tomahawk. Alright, so then we're visualizing, we're looking down, we're looking for a 45-degree angle in my case. Now remember, none of this is flying instruction, this is just instruction on how to do the visualization. So we're doing 45 degrees in my case. We're going to check for traffic, no traffic. We're going to do the radio call, traffic Maitland, Tango Kilo Yankee, base runway 23 Maitland. We're going to check for traffic, check the runway, and we're visualizing our descent. We're trying to get lined up with our center line. We're trying to manage our airspeed and aiming point. And so visualize yourself doing that. Then our check as we come in on final is flaps as required, undercarriage down and locked, carb heat off so we can do a go around, and clearance. Do we need a clearance? At my airport we're just checking the runway is clear and there's no traffic. Alright, then we're going to visualize our round out, we're going to visualize our flare, try to do that in your mind's eye, and then we're going to hold off and touch down. Then we're doing a touch and go, which I forgot to say at my radio call, didn't I? Flaps away, throttle up, off we go. Power is good, instruments are good, airspeed's alive, 55, rotate, keep going. We're going to go to 300 feet and we'll go puff sit. Power is good, undercarriage is fixed, flaps are away, switches, landing lights off, fuel pump off, instruments got a good rate of climb, T's and P's in the green. Continuing on our way, 500 feet AGL, 600 AMSL at my airport. We're going to check for traffic. We're going to turn left. All right. We are now into crosswind. Visualize yourself coming up to the 1,000 feet. Pitch over, throttle back, trim. Turning onto our downwind. We're going to do our brakes, undercarriage, mixture, fuel, instruments, switches, hatches, harnesses. Continuing on our downwind, looking for traffic, looking at the airstrip, making sure there's no one on the strip, making sure that we know what the wind direction is. We're going to continue on our downwind. We get opposite the numbers. We are going to throttle back, carb heat on, first stage of flaps when the speed is good. Alright, then we're going to continue on our way, holding our attitude, looking this way, 45 degrees. We're going to check for traffic. We're going to turn onto base. Traffic Maitland, Tango Kilo Yankee, base runway 23, touch and go Maitland. Check for traffic, visualizing our turn onto final, looking for traffic on the runway as well. Okay, we're turning onto final. We want our airspeed, our aiming point, our attitude, our center line, and we're going to go flaps. Second stage, undercarriage is down and locked, carb heat is off, clearance, we've got a clear runway. We're going to visualize our round out, we're going to visualize our flare, and we're going to touch down. We're going to go flaps away, we're going to go throttle up, look at the instruments, confirm everything's good. Airspeed, 55 knots, rotate, so on and so on and so on. And you just keep going through this process, visualizing in your mind's eye all the things that you're seeing and all the things that you're doing, and moving your hands around to deal with all of the different throttle up, carb heat, and other things. And just continue on your way, round and round and round, and you'll find you can do this visualization technique not just for circuit work, but for lots of other things as well. I'm not a qualified instrument pilot, but I imagine you could easily do this for holding pattern entries and all kinds of things. So there you go. That's how you use visualization to kind of build on your skills and to get yourself proficient enough to build some confidence in your flying. And it's really, really useful in that early circuit work, but it's incredibly useful for all kinds of things. See you in the next video. Until then, fly like a girl.